Hey, how about Todd Akin, Congressman from St. Louis, wants to be the next U.S. Senator, taking Claire McCaskill's seat. Akin said something that I thought was the most insulting comment I've heard from a member of Congress ever. And he said that liberalism is based on the belief, it's based on a hatred of God. He then said, well, he was talking about trying to remove God from the public arena, and then he said, well, he's talking about a movement, liberalism, but not individuals, as if a movement is not made up of individuals. I don't think many people agreed with him. Even some Republicans like John Danforth were criticizing his comments, but is this going to help him or hurt him in the primary against Sarah Steelman?
Well, with his base, I think it helps him, and maybe that's just that a really far conservative kind of Tea Party base, maybe. But you know, maybe chances are I would never vote for Todd Akin. I don't know. I wouldn't completely rule it out, you know. But things like that, when you say stuff like that, that's reprehensible. And that is insulting. That was a good word that you used. Because that's beyond politics. And this whole game where I'm more religious than you or I'm more Christian than you, I think that does play with a certain audience, and a big audience at that. But I don't think that wins you any votes, and I think you lose more than you win.
But see, that's the scary part of all of this. You just hit it right on the head. We don't know. You just acknowledged yourself that that is a big audience, and what we don't know and will not know until 2012 is how large that segment of the the voting public has become. And I was reading an article on Michelle Bachmann in Rolling Stone magazine, and the writer kept saying, "Don't laugh." They had a really a pretty unflattering and insulting caricature of Michelle Bachmann, but they were saying, "Don't laugh at this woman. Don't laugh at this woman." There are a lot of it resonates with a lot of people. But Todd Akin, I think he's doing what's politically expedient.
Okay, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but just before I forget, because I am old, as I just said, I would say that what we also don't know is the number of people, and I think it's somewhat sizable, that okay, they're not in this camp, they're not in this camp, but they're those people that are going to make the difference in the senatorial election involving Claire McCaskill, and I think that turns off enough people that, you know what, I was thinking about voting against her, but my concern is what I'm voting for, so I'm going to stick with her.
Well, I think it'll help him in the primary, and that's what he's got to think about now.
Good point.
It'll energize people, especially when the media goes after him. People go, oh my gosh, it's the liberal media going after Todd Akin. So I think it'll help him. And then as far as the November election, he can run a little more toward the center against Claire McCaskill than he can run against Sarah Steelman.
I think Bill's right about the primary. Todd Akin's biggest challenge is name ID, statewide, or one of his biggest challenges. He's not as well known statewide as he is certainly in the metropolitan area. Anything that gets him in the news, the likes of us talking about him, regardless, is good. And in red meat Missouri, this clearly plays well. I mean, absolutely. Now, having said that, I actually think that Claire, if I were advising Claire, and I'm not, but if I were, I would very much consider making a commercial out of this, because I think it's incendiary enough, not only to liberals, but to moderates, that it would make a very good campaign commercial for Claire in a general if he gets that far. I don't think anybody knows right now how to handicap the Republican race. So it's too early to tell, but I think it helps him in the primary.
But there's a lot
come out of the gate. He's voted at the wrong house in the wrong precinct, and now this statement.
But
I don't see how this is really working for him, because it's kind of piling up, Now,
we all agree that there's a lot of rage out there. I mean, there is a lot of rage out there, and somebody is telling these politicians.
But see, that's not even rage. That's not even touching the rage. That's touching the.
But it does. It plays right
I disagree.
into it, Alvin.
That's not a rage thing.
There are parts of Missouri where this message of his plays just fine.
But I don't think that's rage.
Wendy Weiss. On another topic.